Your Excellency Alastair Long, thank you very much for joining us at Bahrain This Month.
Not at all, thank you.
How has your first year been as the ambassador?
It's been a pleasure, honestly, to be here in Bahrain as the ambassador. A privilege too. It's one of the closest relationships we have in the world, certainly in this region. And to be involved in being a custodian for that, not just a custodian, but also building it for future, is really exciting. I felt such a warm welcome in Bahrain and such an appetite to collaborate with the UK from all parts of the Bahraini government and society. And I have a fabulous team here in the embassy as well. So as an ambassador, I couldn't really ask for much more.
Moving forward into your ambassadorship, how do you envision strengthening the already strong relationship?
This is the challenge, you see, because when you inherit something so strong and already working in so many different ways, thinking then about the future is really tough. But, you know, what more can we do on an already strong base? And so a lot of our effort is looking at future industry, the world as it will appear then, probably low carbon, much greater emphasis on sustainability. A lot of those future industries are in digital. It requires science and innovation. And so it's in all of those sorts of areas that we're focused.
Great.
But the other thing I think that really contributes to our relationship is the people-to-people ties. And so we need to make sure that those are being built for the younger generation today, so that when they're the leaders of tomorrow, they understand the partnership and the relationship between Bahrain and the UK as well.
A year ago, we spoke in depth about sort of the trade between the two countries, and you discussed the status of various free trade agreements, that treaties that were either being signed or in the process of being signed. Do you have, a year on, do you have an update for us on the sort of status of trade between the two countries?
We've done a lot, actually, in the last year. First of all, bilaterally, because as you'll know, our free trade agreement is designed between the UK and the GCC as a whole. But bilaterally, what we've seen particularly is really strong investment flows both ways. The return on investment and the profile that builds and the international assurance that builds for Bahrain economically is considerable. But we've also seen investment flows the other way. And so UK companies coming here to set up, strong appreciation from them for the very, very business-friendly investment climate here.
What are the sort of key collaborative, moving away from sort of trade, what are the key collaborative projects or efforts between the two countries, maybe especially focusing on sort of education and culture?
I think we have a terrific offering here in Bahrain of British degree courses, and we're hoping to see that expand. There are a couple of potential investments coming up of new UK universities coming to Bahrain. There are some expanding as well. Really proud of partnerships we have, for example, with Salford, with the universities in London. What I think matters in terms of exchanges is that while we grow the offering in Bahrain, we still make it clear we'd love to see Bahrainis in the UK. It's why our new visa arrangements, I think, are really attractive. But we still have the greatest number of Bahrainis coming to the UK than other international markets, and they're most welcome. And there is no substitute for me for spending time in each other's countries, for understanding one another.
We have spoken before about your environmentalist sort of beliefs, and you're a great spokesman for conservation and the wildlife and climate change. So can you sort of discuss perhaps British efforts?
We've had our Centre for Aquaculture and Environmental Science working here in Bahrain for a number of years now, particularly looking with the Ministry of Environment at the marine environment around the island. That work's continuing, but has been, I think, really successful in highlighting some of the really special things that Bahrain has. Most notably, I'd say, and there's been a focus on mangroves, which is quite right, but there's also a fabulous seagrass resource around Bahrain, and seagrass is 100 times more effective a carbon sink even than mangroves. Okay. And mangroves are a very effective carbon sink. You know, very differently, we're looking at things like the ecology of the mainland, local grown food. You see how good it is at the farmers market. so that they can sustain that supply resilience.
If you could go back to your younger self, say you met him, what would you say to him as the one piece of advice that you picked up in the job, or even now, as you say, you're going back to London this week. If you meet a young, keen diplomat, what's the one sort of pearl of wisdom you would share with them to better themselves in their career?
Well, I had a fabulous opportunity recently to talk to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. As you'll know, they have a leading academy, and I think the work that ministry is doing to create young, really talented diplomats is incredible. It's a lesson to us in the UK, actually, the way they're doing that. But the thing I wanted most to say to them, and I say to others, is diplomacy is a profession. But it's a profession that requires real broad experience, because you need to understand almost every aspect of the international system. And at the point at which you become an ambassador, you need to be able to draw on understanding of the UN, understanding of developed and developing contexts, understanding of international finance, understanding of trade, understanding of consular issues, understanding of the defence world, understanding of the cultural world. The world is a changing place, but there are many aspects of the UK, I think, which will still be as strong as ever in 100 years' time.